Hey, what's going on, guys? A lot going on as usual for the DFS world. Let's fly through some baseball.
Let's get it.
All right, guys. So I can't find where it's at right now, but Overlay dropped some new kind of contest the other day, and I'm really excited to look into it more. I don't know how much you've looked into it already. First off, let's fill up these football contests. But secondly, I think it really is going to play well to the sports betting community.
Yeah, it's really going to play well. I think we're going to make some videos on it. I'm excited to talk over it more. Um, yeah, we'll get there when we make some more videos, but I'm certainly hyped about it. And while we're talking about stuff that I'm hyped on, got to shout out our guy, our longtime customer, John Yanez, who has straight been crushing it recently. So congrats, my dude. And I told you I would shout you out. So there it is.
All right, guys. So again, we will. I know we had a request from one of our Overlay players to go through this today. Once there's more, we get a little bit more comfortable with it, we will go through the new thing that Overlay is offering. Again, I only glanced at it for a little bit yesterday because obviously a lot of sports going on these days, but like I said, I think like it's something you'll really get into. It's definitely plays well with the sports betting community. You know, there's going to be ways it's going to go up and down. Lines are going to move. I know it's something I can guarantee. I can really picture you getting into it.
Yeah, it's very fluctuating market, which I love. And it's the type of thing where the earlier you get on it, the more advantage you have. So I'm hyped about it.
All right, guys. Once again, the NFL package is for sale up until tomorrow, at which point we will change it. So you have today and tomorrow to get on it. You get the write-up for the main slate for primetime, videos to go along with it, member construction videos for showdown slates on Monday and Thursday. $80 right now, 20% off from the normal 100. Otherwise, monthly, annual, and lifetime members get all three sports that are valid. Big night last night in NBA. I know some of the MLB picks went really well. Let's try to continue the hot streak today. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to it. Thumbs up is appreciated. Let's talk about pitching. First things first, if you haven't checked your weather yet, Garrett Cole is in serious doubt of being able to go today due to weather. So keep your eyes peeled on that. So we wanted to talk about Sonny Gray. And there's a lot to like right here. One, the weather in Chi-Town is still very pitcher friendly tonight. We both love quality starters, and Gray is that coming off of horrible starts. And this is his worst start he's coming off of in forever. He has owned this Cubs team. And the Cubs strike out a lot. So there's a lot to like here.
The Cubs strike out a lot. He's owned this team. The weather's perfect for pitching here. I mean, honestly, with Garrett Cole probably not in play, even if Garrett Cole is in play, us having a roster two pitchers, it's hard not to look at Gray here. You saw what Bauer did last night. I mean, he's very affordable at 9,600. He's going to be extremely popular, but for very good reason. I think you just plug him in and move on.
I agree with you wholeheartedly on that one. Next one up, let's talk about some offense. So take a look at Enrique Hernandez of the Los Angeles Dodgers, only 3,500, dual eligibility. He's a affordable piece of the game's top offense, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Okay, if you want to argue the Padres, fine. I'm just saying they're one of the game's top offenses. He's very, very cheap at only 3,500. Madison Bumgarner is a shell of himself. The guy who basically won a World Series by himself. He isn't that dude for much of the last couple of years, but even more so this year than ever. And Hernandez, who gets up to face big name lefties, has been awesome against Bumgarner in his career. 25 of 50 with 10 extra base hits.
Yeah, Hernandez is another guy that it just looks like a really nice filler piece here. And you can make the case that the Padres have the best offense, but I'll still lean towards the Dodgers, especially the added Mookie Betts, which I think gets like overlooked a little bit. I know that the Padres are the sexier team right now, but up and down the lineup, I still think the Dodgers are the best in the business.
It's easier to get bored by the Dodgers because they've
Yeah,
been good for years now, whereas the Padres are kind of that new shiny toy that everybody loves in the DFS world.
exactly. Like Seager is like almost boring at this point because he doesn't have the flash of Tatis, but he's damn good.
All right, next up. Why don't you talk about this kid from Tampa I know you've been gushing over who's been off to a torrid start?
So originally got sent to Tampa with Jose Martinez in the deal in the offseason. Didn't get much playing time at all because of the glut of outfielders and Jose Martinez. Well, finally they got rid of Jose Martinez and has been giving this guy a chance to play, been hitting at the top of the lineup versus lefties, and has been straight crushing. You see his OPS. He's in a great spot tonight against Boston, against Kickham and that bullpen. I mean, at 3,200, there's a bunch of cheap guys on this slate, but he stands out to me. Big time power upside, speed upside. I mean, there's nothing not to like here.
Is the Rays stack going under the radar tonight?
I think the Rays stack will get love, but they might not be getting enough love because I think they're in a crush spot here.
All right. That's I know it's a team you're always interested in. You like the cut of their jib. They play hard together. Underrated baseball team. Give them a look-see.
Got it.
All right. Former Ray, former All-Star, former Pirate, former Rocky, Corey Dickerson is going to be leading off tonight, more than likely at only $3K. This is even a price reduction from the other day when he was chalk, so I have to assume he'll get some love again today. At this point, even though he's coming off one of his better starts in a few years, Jake Arrieta is all name and no substance. I know Miami gave up 29 runs yesterday, that the Braves decided to grace us with a football score in honor of the NFL starting tonight. But their offense actually played well. They scored 9 runs in their own right, so they come in relatively hot from an offensive perspective, clearly not from a pitching perspective. And Dickerson is 6 of 14 off Arrieta with a stolen base to boot, and you can run on Arrieta.
They had a real nice game yesterday. 9 runs. A bunch of their guys went off. Dickerson had another fine game. Nothing special, but at $3K, you don't need special. He's got power upside. He's got speed upside. Another just solid filler piece. With how DK has priced these slates out, just makes too much sense to spend up on pitching.
Yeah, we called Dickerson off 2 days ago, and he had 2 hits that day. Took the day off yesterday, I believe, and I'm sure he'll be right back on top of that lineup with the righty on the mound today.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go to Brandon Belt now of the San Francisco Giants. So one of the pitchers that is trending towards being relatively popular today looks to be Paddock of the San Diego Padres. So we actually did our members-only video before this, and we had been talking up Belt and how we wanted to take a look at him, especially in the GPP mold. And then one of the guys who's been a group member for a long time posted some of the numbers. Belt is quietly one of the top 5 hitters in the league against right-handed pitchers this year, having a superb season with that 1051 OPS. And as much as it pains me, as I'm kind of a hater, the San Francisco Giants offense is better than they get credit for.
Yeah, so they're not world beaters, but the ballpark has actually played pretty well for hitting this year. And all of a sudden, their lineup isn't awful at all. Here, though, it's not even about their lineup. Belt, as you mentioned, having a really good year, so affordable at 3,300, and not going to get any love because Paddock is going to be chalk here. I'm not saying Paddock doesn't deserve to get love, but he's not having a special year, and he's certainly not a guy you're afraid to pick a couple batters against. Belt stands out at this price point, and people just won't look here because they're using Paddock. You know what I mean?
And Paddock has given up a lot of power to left-handed hitters. I think kind of a side note, I know you've mentioned the San Francisco ballpark playing differently this year. I would say that more than likely the ballpark hasn't changed as much as it is these Giants are better than guys like me want to give them credit for, so that skews the numbers. Again, I haven't wanted to admit it, but we've gone back and looked at them. They're actually a solid offense.
Yeah, I mean, guys I know we've talked about how they're overpriced, but all of a sudden when you add a guy like Yastrzemski, who's really good, a couple other guys who are having good years, it's really lengthened their lineup.
Yeah, so sometimes, and I know you struggle with it and I struggle with it, yes, and probably every single person listening to this video struggles with it. When you have preconceived notions about a team, it's difficult to ever change them during the middle of the season. But sometimes you just have to look in the mirror and be like, all right, I admit it. Like you had to admit that Arizona's terrible. I have to admit that the Giants are better than they are and that maybe our preconceived notions to start the year are just a little bit off. And I have to accept the Giants are actually not that bad. Their offense puts up runs.
I know this one especially pains you because this has been a me versus you talking point for years, it seems.
And this year you're right and I'm wrong. So yes, they again, Brandon Belt's having a superb season, specifically against right-handed pitching. So at 3,300, he's not going to come in at 1% today or anything like that. But I mean, I can't imagine him being overwhelming chalk. I mean, I'd guess 10%ish.
So okay, I feel we can break this down decently. I think Paddock is around somewhere, if Cole's out of play, let's say he's 50%.
Yeah, it just to really touch on that. It has a lot to do with whether Baltimore becomes safe or not.
So let's say he's 50% owned, which I think is a nice medium because I think he might be around there even if Cole plays. But if Cole doesn't play, I think he'll be higher owned. So out of those 50%, I mean, most people are not playing Belt. I don't want to say 0%, but most are not. And then out of the other 50%, I still don't think a lot of people are playing him. So you're right. He's not going to be 1%, but I don't think he's higher.
He's super cheap for a decent name.
True. I don't think he's higher than 10%.
Okay, yeah, 10% was my guess, but 5% wouldn't surprise me either.
I'm with you.
All right, guys, best of luck today. Click the thumbs up button. NFL information is out for both the week-long stuff and for the showdown tonight. Go give it a look. On tomorrow or Saturday, we'll review Overlay. We'll do the final thoughts video for members on NFL. Write-up will be out at some point Saturday night or very early Sunday morning. A lot to go through. We are down to one NBA game today, so there is no write-up because there's no slate to go over. We were going to try to get to a showdown video, but with my kids home from school and stuff like that, I just don't think we're going to have a chance to get to it today.
Agreed.
That and I haven't played a showdown in forever, so maybe you don't want my advice anyway.
Truth.
All right, guys, take care.
Thanks.